All right, we're at the home of Cliff and Luann Butler. Beautiful home out here. I guess we're considered Bulverde probably. But yeah, they've been out here since '04. Beautiful home. Done some patchwork on the siding, especially on the chimney, which is kind of the culprit of this whole thing. But looking to do it, with a more permanent, kind of longer lasting solution this time. So we are going to be helping out with some hardy plank siding. We will have to do a colonial roughs on. They have the kind of lap and gap kind of style siding. So we're going to have to do a colonial roughs on as being the only real closest match to what they have now. We're kind of splitting it up per their request. We talked about whole thing versus phasing. And the comfort level is definitely to address what needs to be addressed and come back and do more later. So that's how we're going to tailor this for them. And as such, like I said, we're going to be using a colonial roughs on 8-inch. We're doing a fascia overlay, and then we got one, maybe two small areas of soffit we'll point out. But fascia overlay all the way around. Any guttering on the house we're going to tear off and dispose. And then we just got to select few areas of siding that we're going to be doing. So that's kind of what we're looking at. First of all, this gable vent right here, that of course will be painted. Same with this gable vent down there, if you can see it in the sun. That will be painted as well. All of the siding around the front porch ceiling will all be painted. It's in good condition. Excuse me, the two little arch windows, that wall, this rake will all be painted. This wall facing us with the big configuration of windows, that will all be painted. Where we are not replacing soffit, we will be painting the soffit. So really, if we're either replacing the siding or painting the siding, we're either replacing the soffit or painting the soffit. So either way, every square inch of siding and soffit, and of course fascia, because the fascia overlay will be addressed through this kind of scope of work that we're putting together here. So again, all this siding on the front is all going to be painted. Starting over here, this little rake all the way up and down the backside, which we're going to go look at here in a second, all of that's going to be replaced. So this on the front, this corner here really starts our first phase of replacement. Everything else is going to be painted on the front. We'll work our way around. I do recommend a garage door wrap, no question about it. But this siding here will all be painted. Fascia overlay, of course. And then, depending on a color change or not, we can paint the garage door, but definitely wrapping the garage door frame all the way around in Hardie plank. Now, let me scoot back a little bit. So this wall, this little rake here, that will be Hardie plank. That rake up behind here, all back up in here, that's the back side of what we just looked at on the front. All of this here, including all of this to the corner, and then around that front face, that is all going to be Hardie plank siding. Those windows will be retrimmed in Hardie plank 1x4, done correctly the way we talked about it with the butt 2 application, which we don't have now. They just laid the trim over the siding. And then of course that gable vent up top there will be painted. But again, here, fascia overlay all the way around. All of this siding on the kind of bump out with the windows, at least everything we see right now will be painted. There is a section in this same configuration, in this same area, that we're going to start some siding on. But this, as we're looking at right now, will all be painted. We can paint this rear garage door, entry door right here with the doggy door in it. That can get painted. It looks like, I'm not sure, but we need to inspect that area of fascia before we do fascia overlay, just to make sure it's in good integrity. I think it is, but we need to check. This area is going to definitely need to be nailed back. This fascia, it's not rotted, but it definitely is separated. So we will need to nail that back. This soffit under here is probably the roughest soffit of the whole thing. So basically what that would entail, since it's kind of like the fascia, it's like a rubber band. It's a start, you know, there is no start and stop generally, but here we are lucky. We do have some clearly defined start and stop points. So this area right here, right over that window that kind of juts out, that will be the start point of the soffit. Soffit will go along here, along here, along here, this run, and we'll stop right back there. So it'll get all this and then stop right at the rock where it terminates. So all of that will be Hardie soffit, and that will address. They said this has been painted numerous times, and it just has never been right. So this will all be a soffit overlay. There's some fascia repair up here that needs to be done before we put on our Hardie fascia, right on the area that comes down into the roof line. See that? So that will be repaired before we do fascia overlay. And then coming around here, this back wall, including those windows, the trim, that will all become Hardie plank siding as well. This wall, starting at the corner right here, all the way over to this trim piece right here, that will be Hardie plank, this one area right here, that wall. So this window will be retrimmed, this window will be retrimmed, and then we'll have some new corner trim right here. From that corner on, so from this corner right here, right, will all be Hardie plank. This corner left will all be painted until we get to the chimney here. So from right here to this corner will all be painted in there, including the doors. Once we get to the chimney, this whole chimney, including the trim, all of this, the box area, as well as down here, will all be Hardie plank, as well as the sides that return back to the house. So this whole chimney, front, side, top to bottom, will all become Hardie plank. This wall is really the only wall we absolutely need to tear off, which is good because that'll save a lot of money on the project. But this wall is just, it's done. So we need to tear that off fully and then install the OSB 7/16 inch. We'll do our Hardie wrap just like we will on top of the siding everywhere else, and then install our Hardie plank up here. But this is the only wall where it fully needs to be torn off. Freeze board, of course, would get replaced, no question about that. And the fascia over there that's nailed, or where flashing is nailed to it, we won't need that anymore since we'll have the Hardie fascia on there. So that's what we got here. The guttering, of course, will come down. That'll go away. And then fascia overlay up top as well as everywhere down here. But again, this entire chimney will become Hardie plank colonial roughs on. This wall right here, of course, the chimney is going to be Hardie. From this inside corner right here, this is all going to be painted. Everything's over here is rock and window, so not much going on over here except for fascia. Definitely looks like we need some rot repair up there on that corner. See that? So that's going to need to be rot repaired before we do our Hardie fascia. And then we have one strip of freeze board, and we'll probably have to do some mortar touch up with it. But right here, so it's probably just easiest to take out this full stick here, which is probably about 12 feet, and address, there you go, now you can see it, address that chew marks. Plus there's a little hole there, so that probably needs to be taken care of too. Whoops, where are we? There we are. There's a little hole right here where easily squirrel could get in, so we need to address that area. But that freeze board will be replaced with a Hardie 1x2 freeze, and then we'll, like I said, we'll definitely have to probably do some mortar touch up. This little gutter, little 5 feet of gutter, that's all of course going to come down, and that will be disposed of as well. So that's what we got. Now we're right back to the front. Everywhere else, the soffit's good. A painting of the soffit everywhere else, minus that small, probably 18 feet of soffit out by the bump out. And everywhere else, the soffit will be painted. Full fascia overlay, gutters all going away. and then just a few areas of Hardie. I think it actually is, I was looking at my numbers real quick. I think it was about half and half. A little over half of the house will be done, and a little less than half will be painted. So it was a little bit more even proportion than I thought. I thought it was more like 80-20, but it's about probably 75-25. So that's what we got. And again, this is the only wall that's being torn off up here. Everything else will be a full overlay. Still getting all the Hardie wrap. Still going to have the quality installation and the warranty. Nothing will change. All we're doing is saving some money on the tear off. So that's what we're looking at. Cliff, Luann, really appreciate y'all having us out and going through that pretty extensive walkthrough we did. And we look forward to the opportunity to work with you. Thank you so much.